Welcome to my channel, my friends. Do you understand English in your head, but can't speak it easily? You know the words, you translate, but when it's time to talk, your mind goes blank. It feels like your mouth and brain don't work together. Have you ever felt that? Comment if you have, because today, I'll show you how to train your mind to think in English and speak it like it's your real language. Stay with me till the end, because after this video, English will no longer be just a subject, it'll become your voice. Chapter 1. The Battle Inside Your Mind. At first, it feels like there are two people living inside your head. One knows English words, remembers grammar rules, and understands when others speak. The other one is shy, quiet, and afraid to open the mouth. When you try to speak, these two start to fight. The thinking part says, "I know this word." The speaking part says, "No, wait, don't say it, you might be wrong." That silent fight happens in seconds, and before you know it, the moment is gone. Someone asks you a question, and you freeze. You feel your mind go empty, even though you studied for hours. That is the battle inside your mind, and every English learner fights it. You see, English fluency is not about knowing everything. It's about connecting your brain and your mouth so they move together like music. But when you translate, doubt yourself, or fear mistakes, the connection breaks. Your mind thinks in your native language, then tries to translate each word into English. That process is slow and stressful. By the time you find the right word, the conversation has already moved on. You look down, smile awkwardly, and think, why can't I just speak like others? You feel something is wrong with you, but it's not you, it's your system of thinking. When I started learning English, I knew hundreds of words. I could write small essays, pass school tests, even read short stories. But when I had to talk, I felt like a different person, weak, nervous, unsure. I used to watch people speaking English fast and naturally. Their words just flowed. I wanted to be like that, but no matter how hard I tried, my tongue didn't listen to my brain. It was like my thoughts and my mouth lived in two different worlds. That feeling made me frustrated, sometimes even embarrassed. I started to believe maybe I would never be fluent. Maybe speaking English was only for smart people or people who lived abroad. I was wrong. It wasn't about where I lived or how intelligent I was. It was about how I trained my brain. Think of your brain as a garden. Every time you think in your native language, you water one side. Every time you think in English, even a single small thought, you water the other side. The side you water more begins to grow. But here's the secret. Your brain doesn't grow English just by studying rules, it grows by experience, repetition, and emotion. The first time you say a sentence out loud, it feels heavy. The second time, a bit easier. The third time, your mouth remembers it. After a week, that same sentence feels natural. That's not magic. That's your brain making a new path, a new habit. Many learners lose the battle inside their mind because they expect perfection. They think they must speak like a native, with no mistakes, perfect accent, perfect grammar. But that's like waiting to swim until the sea is calm. It never happens. You must jump in first. The truth is, people don't become fluent after they start speaking. They become fluent because they start speaking. Your brain learns faster when you use English, not when you just study it. Let me tell you what changed my life. One day, I realized my thoughts were my biggest problem. I wasn't fighting English, I was fighting myself. Every time I wanted to say something, I stopped myself. So I made a rule: no more fear inside my head. When I thought something in my language, I forced myself to repeat it in English. When I saw something around me, I named it in English. Window, tree, sky, dog. It sounded silly, but it worked. Slowly, my brain started to think in English automatically. The battle inside my head got quieter, and my confidence got stronger. If you're watching this, maybe you felt that same war inside you, your thoughts moving fast in your language, but stuck in English. Let me tell you, that's normal. You're not broken. You're learning. You're building something powerful inside your brain. The key is to stop fighting and start training. Don't judge your thoughts. Don't stop yourself because you're afraid. Let your English come out, even if it's simple, even if it's slow. Fluency doesn't start when you speak perfectly, it starts when you speak honestly. Here's a small challenge for you. Right now, say one sentence about your life in English. It can be anything. I am watching this video. I want to learn English. I am not perfect, but I am trying. Say it out loud. Feel the words in your mouth. That small action might look small, but it's the first victory in the battle inside your mind. Because when you speak out loud, even to yourself, you show your brain that English is not a school subject, it's your voice. Every day, your thoughts are training your brain. Make sure they are training it in the right direction. Think English, speak English, live English. Your real fluency starts inside your head, and once your mind believes it, your mouth will follow. Don't worry about the speed, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about mistakes. Just start. You are already in the fight, and today, you took your first step to win it. Chapter 2. Stop translating, start feeling. When I first learned English, I made the same mistake every learner makes. I translated everything. Every word, every sentence, every thought. If someone said, "How are you?" my brain ran to my first language, searched for meaning, translated it, and then came back to English with an answer. It was like sending my thoughts on a long trip before I could speak. That's why I spoke slowly. That's why my words came late. I thought I was learning English, but in truth, I was only building a bridge back to my old language. Translation made my English weak, slow, and mechanical. I didn't sound natural, I sounded like a robot reading from a dictionary. Your brain cannot think in two languages at the same time. When you translate, your mind has to stop and switch. That's why you feel stuck. You know the word, but your mouth doesn't say it. The connection between your thought and your voice is broken by translation. It's like trying to dance while reading the steps on paper. You're thinking too much to move. The secret to speaking real English is not translating, it's feeling. You must feel the meaning of words, not just remember them. Let's try something together. When you hear the word apple, don't think of its translation in your language. Just see it in your mind, red, round, shiny. Maybe imagine holding it, smelling it, taking a bite. That is how a child learns. They don't memorize the translation, they connect the word directly to experience. That's why children learn so fast. They don't say, apple means this, they simply know it is an apple. You can do the same. Connect English words to images, sounds, and emotions. Don't say, I am happy by translating it. Feel happiness in your chest, remember a moment that made you smile, and then say it. Let English come from that feeling. When you start to think this way, English becomes alive. You stop studying it like a subject, and you start living it like a language. Think of all the times you wanted to say something, but paused because you were trying to translate. Maybe someone asked, "What did you do today?" and you started building the sentence in your head, word by word from your language. By the time you finished, the conversation was gone. But if you feel the question, if you imagine your day and speak directly from memory, I went to work, I cooked dinner, I met my friend, your brain stays in English. You're not translating anymore. You're thinking directly in English. Here's the truth. Translation is like training wheels on a bicycle. It helps at the beginning, but if you never take them off, you'll never ride freely. You must remove them to find balance. In the same way, you must stop using your first language as a crutch. When you see something, name it in English. When you think of something, describe it in English. Even if your sentence is short or simple, it's powerful because it comes directly from your brain, not through translation. I remember the day I stopped translating for the first time. I was walking down the street, and I saw a dog chasing a ball. My first thought used to be in my native language, but that day, it came in English. The dog is running fast. It surprised me. I didn't plan it, I didn't force it, it just happened. That was the moment I realized my brain was changing. It was like watching a seed finally grow after weeks of watering. It was small, but it meant everything. That small thought showed me that fluency doesn't start with grammar, it starts with how you see the world. So, here's a small practice for you. Look around right now. Don't sit still, move your eyes. See the table, the chair, the phone, the window, the light. Name them in English. Whisper the words softly. Table, chair, phone, window, light. Then make small sentences. The light is bright. My phone is on the table. The window is open. That's how you train your brain to think in English. No translation, just real life in real words. Every time you do this, you teach your brain that English is normal, natural, and yours. When you watch English movies, don't try to translate every word. Feel what's happening. Notice the emotion. Watch the body language. Listen to the tone. The brain remembers what it feels, not what it memorizes. If you feel the meaning of a word, you'll never forget it. For example, when someone says, "I'm exhausted," feel how heavy that sounds. Imagine coming home after a long day, you can almost feel it in your body. That's how you remember it, through emotion, not translation. The moment you stop translating, you will notice a big change. You will start speaking faster. Your thoughts will come naturally. You'll stop being afraid of forgetting words, because your brain will finally speak the same language as your mouth. You'll begin to sound natural, confident, and alive. You won't just speak English, you'll feel English. So, if you are watching this now, make a promise to yourself. From today, don't translate in your head. When you hear a word, feel it. When you see something, name it in English. When you want to express a feeling, say it in English, even if it's simple. The more you feel, the more you think in English. And the more you think in English, the more you speak real English. Your brain is ready. It's just waiting for permission to stop translating and start feeling. Give it that permission today. Chapter 3. How to train your brain for English thinking. Your brain is like a muscle. If you train it with the right exercises, it grows strong and fast. But if you never use it in real English, it becomes lazy. It waits for translation, waits for comfort, waits for perfect grammar. The truth is, your brain learns what you feed it. If you feed it English every day, it starts to think in English automatically. But if you only read lessons and never use them, your brain forgets. So, in this chapter, let's learn how to train your brain to think in English naturally, simply, and daily. When I started learning, I didn't understand this idea. I thought I had to study grammar for hours. I believed that if I memorized all the rules, one day I would wake up fluent. But that day never came. I could write essays, but when I had to talk, my brain froze. I realized grammar rules were not enough. I needed something deeper. I needed to live English. That's when I began my brain training. I started talking to myself. Yes, I talked to myself like a crazy person. But it worked. Every morning, I looked in the mirror and said simple sentences out loud. Good morning. How are you today? I'm feeling fresh. I have many things to do. At first, it felt strange. I was shy, even though no one was there. But after a few days, it became normal. My brain started to expect English in the morning. It was like waking up my mind in a new language. That simple habit changed everything. The mirror became my first teacher. My mouth moved, my ears listened, and my brain began to connect thoughts directly to English words. No translation, no fear, just practice. You can start with the same exercise. Choose one moment every day to talk to yourself in English. Maybe when you're brushing your teeth, making tea, or getting ready for work. Describe what you're doing. Say it out loud. I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I'm looking for my shoes. I'm going to the kitchen. These sentences may sound simple, but they're gold. They connect your real life to real English. When you repeat them daily, your brain starts to think in English automatically because it connects words with actions. Another powerful method is shadowing. This means listening to a native speaker and speaking at the same time. It trains your mouth, ears, and brain to move together. Find a short English clip, maybe from a movie, YouTube, or podcast. Listen carefully. Then play it again and repeat every word immediately after you hear it. Don't stop for mistakes. Just copy the rhythm, the tone, the sound. At first, it will be hard. Your tongue may feel slow. But with practice, you'll notice that your pronunciation improves and your brain starts to hear and speak together. That's how fluency grows, not by writing, but by doing. Another small but powerful trick is narration. This means talking through your thoughts as if you are the narrator of your own life. When you're walking, say what you see. The sky is beautiful. That car is red. The children are playing. When you're cooking, say what you're doing. I'm cutting vegetables. The water is boiling. It smells good. These sentences train your brain to stay in English. You stop thinking in your first language because your mind is busy describing life in English. It becomes your background music, quiet but constant. Don't worry if your sentences are short or simple. You are not trying to impress anyone. You're building a connection between your thoughts and English. That connection is stronger than any grammar rule. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. After a few weeks, you will notice something beautiful. English words will appear in your head before your native words do. You will start dreaming in English, thinking in English, and even talking to yourself in English without realizing it. That's when you know your brain is changing. But remember, your brain is not a machine. It doesn't learn from pressure, it learns from consistency. 10 minutes of real practice every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Be gentle with yourself. Fluency is not a race, it's a rhythm. Your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to make English part of your daily thinking. Just like you breathe without trying, one day you'll speak English without trying. Let me share one personal moment. I once sat on a bus, thinking about my day. Suddenly, I realized my thoughts were all in English. I didn't plan it, I wasn't forcing it. It just happened. That was one of the happiest moments of my learning journey. It showed me that small daily efforts become big, invisible progress. Every time I spoke to myself, every time I shadowed a sentence, every time I narrated my actions, my brain was changing quietly. And one day, that change became visible. So, train your brain with love, patience, and daily action. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start today. When you wake up, say one sentence in English. When you eat, describe your food in English. When you walk, talk about what you see. Every small thought, every small word, every small moment adds up. That's how your brain learns to think in English, not through fear or pressure, but through gentle repetition. Fluency begins in your brain long before it comes from your mouth. So keep feeding your mind with English every day. Soon, your thoughts and your voice will move as one, natural, real, and confident. Chapter 4. Speak without fear. Fear is the biggest wall between you and real English. Not grammar, not vocabulary. Fear. You know that moment when someone asks you a question in English, and you know the answer in your head, but your mouth stays silent? That's not because you don't know English. That's because you are scared. Scared of being wrong. Scared of sounding silly. Scared of what people will think. I understand that fear. I lived with it for years. Every time I wanted to speak, my heart beat fast, my hands got cold, and my voice disappeared. I wanted to speak perfectly, but perfection made me silent. When I was in school, our English teacher often asked us to read aloud. I remember staring at the book, praying she wouldn't call my name. My classmates sounded confident. Their voices were loud and smooth. But when it was my turn, my lips trembled. I could read the words in my mind, but my tongue refused to move. When I finally spoke, my voice cracked, and everyone laughed. That small moment stayed with me for years. It made me believe I wasn't good enough. I thought speaking English was only for people who had natural talent or perfect grammar. That thought became my cage. Many learners today live inside the same cage. They wait. They wait until they know more grammar, until they finish more lessons, until they feel ready. But here's the truth: you will never feel ready. If you wait to be perfect, you will never speak. The only way to become fluent is to speak before you feel ready. Every mistake you make is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of progress. Fear will always whisper in your ear, "Don't do it, you might fail." But if you listen to that voice, you'll never hear your real English voice, the one waiting quietly inside you. I still remember the first time I spoke without fear. It was at a small shop. The shopkeeper spoke English, and I decided to try. My heart was pounding, but I told myself, just say it. Don't think. I opened my mouth and said, "Can I have a bottle of water, please?" It was simple, but it was real. The shopkeeper smiled and gave me the bottle. I walked away feeling like I had just climbed a mountain. That small sentence changed everything. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine. That was the day I learned that courage is more important than grammar. Fear doesn't disappear by waiting, it disappears by action. The more you speak, the smaller your fear becomes. Every time you open your mouth, your confidence grows stronger and your fear grows weaker. Think of fear like darkness. The moment you light a candle, even a tiny one, the darkness starts to fade. Your first words in English are that candle. Don't worry about how small or broken your sentences are. The light will grow with every word you speak. Here's something powerful you can do right now. Pause this video for a moment and say this sentence out loud. I am not perfect, but I can speak. Say it again, louder this time. Feel the sound in your chest. That sentence is your weapon against fear. Every time you feel shy or nervous, repeat it. I am not perfect, but I can speak. Because you can. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need courage. People often think confidence comes after fluency, but it's the opposite. Confidence comes before fluency. You start speaking first, and then fluency follows. I once met a friend who spoke broken English, full of mistakes, but he spoke with so much energy that people loved talking to him. He didn't care about being perfect. He cared about being real. And guess what? His English improved faster than anyone else's because he practiced freely. He wasn't scared of judgment. He was focused on communication. That's the mindset you need. So the next time someone speaks to you in English, don't hide. Look them in the eye. Smile. Say something simple. Maybe, "Hi, how are you?" Or, "I like your shirt." The words don't matter. Your courage does. Each time you speak, your fear loses power. Each time you stay silent, it grows. Choose courage. Choose progress. You don't have to be fearless to speak. You just have to speak while you're still afraid. That's how brave people grow. I know speaking in public can feel scary. Even now, sometimes my heart beats fast before I speak on stage or record a video. But I remind myself of one truth: nobody is perfect. Even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words, they repeat, they say and Fluency doesn't mean never making mistakes, it means never stopping because of them. You are learning a new language, that alone makes you brave. Most people never try, but you are trying. You're learning, growing, and pushing your limits. Every word you speak is a victory, and every mistake you make is a teacher. So stop chasing perfection, chase progress. Speak more. Feel proud of your small sentences, because they are the building blocks of your big success. Before we move to the next chapter, I want you to say this sentence aloud again. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. Let the words fill the room. That's not just a sentence, it's a decision. You have the power to change the way you speak. You just need to take the first step. And the first step is simple. Open your mouth and speak. Fear cannot live where courage is practiced daily. So, start small. Speak today. Even one sentence counts. Your voice matters. and English is waiting to hear it. Chapter 5: The Power of Real English Sentences. When I first started learning English, I thought I had to memorize thousands of grammar rules and word lists to sound fluent. I filled notebooks with vocabulary. I studied tenses, prepositions, and verbs. But when someone talked to me in real life, I couldn't reply. I froze. My brain searched for grammar before meaning, and by the time I found the correct sentence, the moment was gone. That's when I realized something powerful. People don't speak grammar, they speak sentences. Real English is made of sentences that people use every single day. Short, natural, living sentences that express real life. Textbook English says, "How do you do?" But real English says, "How's it going?" Grammar lessons say, "I am not certain." But real English says, "I'm not sure." One sounds correct, the other sounds alive, and the goal of every English learner should be to sound alive, not perfect. When I first started practicing real sentences, everything changed. I stopped trying to invent long, complicated phrases. Instead, I focused on short, real ones. I learned sentences like, "Can I help you?" "That's interesting." "I don't understand." And "Could you repeat that, please?" These were the sentences I heard in movies, on YouTube, in daily conversations. I started repeating them out loud every day. I didn't worry about grammar because these sentences were already correct. I just practiced saying them with feeling. Slowly, my brain began to remember them like songs. The more I used them, the more confident I became. You don't need to know every rule to speak English. You need sentences that fit real life. For example, when you go to a shop, you can use, "Can I have this, please?" When someone says something funny, just say, "That's so funny." When you need help, say, "Can you show me?" Or, "Can you say it again?" These short, ready-made sentences are your real tools. They help you speak naturally without stopping to think about grammar or translation. Think about how children learn. They don't study grammar books. They listen, copy, and repeat. They hear, "I'm hungry," 100 times, and then one day, they say it themselves, naturally, easily, perfectly. That's how you must learn too. Don't memorize rules, memorize real sentences. When you do this, you're training your brain to speak English the same way native speakers do, with rhythm, emotion, and confidence. Let's do a small exercise right now. I'll say a few real sentences. You can pause and repeat after me. "I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it. Take your time." "That's amazing. Let's get started. I'll call you later." These are the sentences that make conversations flow. They are simple but powerful because they sound natural. If you say them with the right tone, people will instantly understand you. You'll sound real, not robotic. When you use real sentences, you also feel more confident. Why? Because you're not building the sentence from zero. You already know it. You don't waste energy thinking about every word. You can focus on speaking, not on rules. That's the secret of fluency. Fluency is not speed, it's comfort. It's the ability to speak without fear, without stopping, and real sentences give you that comfort. Another beautiful thing happens when you learn in sentences. You start to notice patterns. You see how words connect naturally. For example, if you learn, "I'm going to bed," you'll easily understand, "I'm going to work," or "I'm going to the park." You don't memorize grammar, you feel it. Your brain starts to see English as a living system, not a list of words. That's how children become fluent, through patterns, not pressure. When I switched to learning through real sentences, my English world opened. I started to talk to people more. I could respond fast because my brain had ready sentences waiting. I didn't think, which tense should I use? I just spoke. And because I spoke more, I improved faster. Real English builds real confidence. So here's your challenge for today. Pick 10 sentences that you can use in your daily life. Write them on a paper. Read them every morning and every night. Say them out loud. Use them during the day. When you meet someone, try to use at least one of them. Don't worry if it feels strange at first. Every new habit does. But after a week, you'll notice that those sentences start to come to you automatically. You'll speak without thinking. That's how real English enters your mind, not by memorizing, but by living. If you want to think and speak real English, stop asking, "What is the grammar rule?" Start asking, "How do people really say this?" Watch conversations. Listen to podcasts. Notice how people reply. You'll hear phrases like, "You know what I mean. That makes sense." Or, "I got it." Copy them. Feel them. Repeat them. Make them yours. Fluency doesn't come from big words, it comes from small sentences used again and again. So don't chase perfection, chase connection. Don't speak like a textbook, speak like a person. Speak with emotion, rhythm, and truth. Your goal is not to sound perfect, your goal is to sound real. Because real English is not about fancy words, it's about expressing yourself, connecting with people, and feeling confident in every sentence you say. So, from today, build your English world with real sentences. Practice them, repeat them, live them. The more you use them, the more fluent you'll become. And one day, you'll realize something wonderful. You're not translating anymore. You're not thinking too much. You're just speaking. That is the power of real English sentences. Chapter 6. Practice thinking aloud. Every day. When I began speaking English alone, people around me thought I was strange. They didn't understand what I was doing. But deep inside, I knew something they didn't. I wasn't talking to myself. I was training my brain. I was building the bridge between my thoughts and my voice. Every time I spoke out loud, I felt my English becoming more real. It wasn't about showing others, it was about growing myself. That's why this chapter is special, because it's not about learning English from books. It's about learning English from your own mouth. You see, silence is the enemy of fluency. If you stay silent for too long, your brain forgets how to speak. That's why many learners can understand English, but can't say anything. They keep everything locked inside. Thinking aloud breaks that wall. It's like opening a window and letting fresh air into your English brain. You start to hear your own voice in English, and that sound builds confidence. The more you speak, the less scared you feel. The less scared you feel, the better you speak. That's the magic circle. When I was learning, I made a small rule for myself. Speak something in English every single day. It didn't matter where I was. In the kitchen, I would say, "I'm cooking rice." While walking, I'd whisper, "The sky is beautiful." When brushing my teeth, I'd say, "I'm getting ready for the day." These simple sentences became my daily warm-up. They connected my English to real life. I didn't need a teacher, a class, or even a partner. My voice was my best practice tool. You can start right now. Look around you. Say what you see. Describe what you're doing. For example, if you're sitting, say, "I'm watching this video." If you're drinking tea, say, "This tea tastes good." If you're tired, say, "I'm a little sleepy." Don't worry about mistakes. Nobody is judging you. You are your only student and your only teacher. The goal is not to be correct. The goal is to be connected. Connected to your thoughts, to your voice, and to your English. In the beginning, you might feel shy. You might think, "This is weird. Why am I talking to myself?" But remember, every fluent speaker once spoke alone. Every actor rehearses alone. Every singer practices before the stage. You are doing the same thing. You are training your speaking muscles, your tongue, your mouth, your ears, your brain, everything that builds fluency. English will not grow if you only keep it in your mind. It grows when you speak it, when you hear it, when you live it out loud. Let's imagine your brain is like a piano. You can read all the music books in the world, but until your fingers touch the keys, you can't play. Thinking aloud is your daily practice. It's your music rehearsal. Every sentence you say is a note, every word a sound. The more you play, the better your song becomes. There were times when I didn't have anyone to talk to. My friends didn't speak English, and my city wasn't full of English speakers. But I realized something important. I could create my own English world. I could turn my room into my classroom. My mirror became my partner. My phone became my friend. I used to pretend I was explaining things. I'd say, "Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about my day." I'd imagine I was on YouTube, teaching others. It was fun. And because I was having fun, my brain learned faster. That's what you should do too. Make English part of your day, not part of your study schedule. Talk to your clothes while choosing them. This shirt looks nice. Talk to your pet. Are you hungry? Talk to your reflection in the mirror. You're doing great today. Talk to your phone. Let's start the video. You're not being strange. You're being smart. Every small moment becomes your English moment. One day, I was sitting in a park, watching people walk by. I started whispering what I saw in English. The boy is running, the woman is talking on the phone, the old man is feeding the birds. A man sitting nearby looked at me with curiosity. He probably thought I was crazy, but I smiled because I knew something powerful. I was training fluency in real time. I wasn't afraid anymore. That day, I realized that fluency grows when you stop worrying about how you look and start focusing on how you sound. If you want your English to become natural, you must make your mouth busy every day. Even 10 minutes of thinking aloud can transform your confidence. The key is not how long you practice, it's how regularly you do it. Every day your brain forgets what it doesn't use, but it remembers what it repeats. That's why this habit is golden. It keeps your English alive. Here's a little exercise you can start tonight. Before you sleep, close your eyes and talk to yourself in English. Tell your brain what happened during your day. Say, "Today I went to work. I met my friend. I learned something new. I watched an English video." It doesn't matter if it's simple. Just speak. You will notice that after a few days, English words start coming to you naturally. You won't have to search for them, they'll just appear. That's your brain's way of saying, "Thank you for practicing me." Remember, the mirror doesn't judge you, your phone doesn't laugh at you, and your brain doesn't care about mistakes. It only cares about consistency. So talk to yourself. Talk to your life. Talk to your dreams. Speak out loud. Because every word you say builds your confidence, strengthens your fluency, and brings you one step closer to speaking real English. So from today, promise yourself one thing. I will speak out loud every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, even if no one is listening, because my voice matters, and my fluency begins with me. Chapter 7. Speak the language of your life. One day, I realized something simple, but life-changing. I didn't want to speak perfect English. I wanted to speak my English, the English that belonged to my life, my feelings, my story. Because real English is not about sounding like someone else, it's about expressing who you are. When you speak English that connects to your real life, you don't just sound fluent, you sound authentic. You stop pretending. You start living the language. For years, I used to memorize random sentences from books. The cat is under the table. She has a red umbrella. But those sentences had nothing to do with me. I didn't have a cat. I didn't care about umbrellas. That's why I always forgot them. Then one day, I started creating sentences from my own life. I'm making tea. I'm late for work. I miss my best friend. I want to travel to London. These sentences felt alive because they were mine. My brain remembered them easily. because they came from real feelings. That's when I discovered the truth. You remember what you feel, not what you repeat. If you want to speak real English, make it personal. Talk about your day, your dreams, your small struggles. When you wake up, say, I don't want to get up yet. When you drink coffee, say, this coffee smells amazing. When you're tired, say, I worked hard today. These sentences are not from a textbook, they are from your life, and your life is your best English teacher. When you speak about your life, English becomes part of you. You stop separating study time and lifetime. You live in English. Every moment becomes practice. When you think about your goals, think in English. When you plan your day, plan in English. When you make mistakes, correct them kindly, in English. The more you do this, the more your brain accepts English as normal. It stops being a foreign language. It becomes your second skin. I remember sitting one night and writing my diary in English. My grammar wasn't perfect, and my spelling had mistakes, but every sentence was true. I wrote about my dreams, about people I loved, about things I wanted to do, and for the first time, English didn't feel like a subject. It felt like my friend. I could talk to it, share my secrets with it, and it never judged me. It listened silently as I poured my heart onto the page. That was the night I realized I was no longer learning English. I was living in English. You can feel the same transformation. English is not just words, it's a window to express your heart. When you talk about your feelings in English, you build a bridge between who you are and who you want to be. So stop memorizing fake dialogues like Mr. Smith is at the station. Instead, talk about you. I'm learning English because I want to travel. I'm scared to speak, but I'm trying. I want to improve, even if it takes time. These are real sentences. They are full of honesty, and honesty makes your English powerful. Your English should sound like your life. Simple, real, emotional. Not like a grammar test, but like a conversation with a friend. When you start using English to express your truth, fluency follows naturally, because your brain loves what is personal. It remembers what is connected to your emotions. If you feel your sentences, you never forget them. So from today, make English your daily life partner. When you clean your room, describe what you're doing. When you walk outside, talk about what you see. When you feel something, say it out loud. When something makes you happy, express it in English. When something hurts, write it in English. This is how you build a real relationship with the language. English will grow with you, laugh with you, and comfort you. It will become part of your story. And one day, without even realizing it, you will speak naturally. Someone will ask you a question in English, and you'll answer without fear, without translation, without hesitation. Your thoughts and your words will move together like music. That is the moment when you'll know English is no longer just a language. It's your voice. So don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect level. Start with your own life, your own words. Every time you speak from the heart, your English becomes more powerful. Every time you express something real, your confidence grows. You don't need to sound like anyone else. You just need to sound like you. If this video made you feel something, if it reminded you that you can speak, think, and live real English, then don't stop here. Start today. Take one small step. Speak one real sentence about your life in English right now, and write it in the comments. Let me know how it feels. And before you go, like this video, subscribe to this channel Bon Our Eye, and share it with someone who needs courage to speak. Remember, you don't learn real English by waiting. You learn it by living it. Every word you speak today builds the fluent, fearless you of tomorrow.